Hey there, welcome to Strong and Healthy, a podcast for local church leaders, families, and maybe even my grandchildren. My name is Steve Barr, and here's where you're going to find practical nuggets on a wide variety of topics to encourage, challenge, and hopefully inspire you to take your next steps in God. Hey everybody, I'm going to give a story from my grandchildren on this episode. I'm going to share with them, and you're welcome to listen in, of course. But this is the day that my brother and I became men. So I will always remember that day when my brother and I witnessed a big deal in our family. My brother Paul was about 10 years old, and I was about 12. And we were playing in the front yard. It was just a regular, typical, beautiful Saturday morning at our house where we lived in Santa Barbara. And my dad was working in the garage with his new radial arm saw. It's like a big saw that you slide back and forth over boards. And he was always fixing up stuff. And then the garage door was open and we were playing in the front yard. And all of a sudden, there was a huge cry. It just like stopped our hearts. And it was like, ah, like this. And then we heard the sound of crashing boards that we just stopped and we just stared at each other right in the middle of playing. And so we stood there with our eyes fixed on each other. We knew something was wrong, but we didn't know what to do. And I could see so clearly, even now, we were at the side of the garage and I could see him back out several steps out of the garage. And then we could see him for a moment, and then he darted back into the garage and out of our view. And he went in there actually to unplug the saw that was still spinning. Then we were just standing there like frozen, and we watched our dad running from the garage to the front door of the house, and he was cradling his right arm to his chest. Then from inside of the house, we heard a loud wail from our grandmother. She's going, oh, like this. And almost immediately she burst out of the front door with her purse and her keys in her hand. And she was moaning something about his fingers, his fingers. And my dad was following right behind her with his hand wrapped in a bathroom towel, but it was already soaked red with blood. But instead of getting into the car, he marched over to the garage door and shut it. Then he walked over to us and said, "Stay out." And we were still stuck there. We were just frozen the whole thing. We knew this was a big deal. So we didn't argue with him. Anyway, no words were spoken between Paul and me that whole time. We were just frozen in place on the front lawn, watching the whole scene unfolding. Our eyes were wide, our mouths were dropped open, and everything seemed to be going like in slow motion. At last, the car disappeared, screeching around the corner, and probably all of that happened in less than 90 seconds. But to us, in our memory, it seems like an hour. So that was the day that our dad lost 2 fingers and almost a third. He lost the use of that third finger forever on that day. So my brother and I, we were still looking at each other, and we took a deep breath and let out a long sigh, and our shoulders relaxed a bit, and we stood up straight and slowly looked toward the garage. The garage. And then I said, "We better go in and look." So we crept in the back door of the dark garage, and there were strips of light coming in from the garage door, and our eyes were wide open, and we were searching ever so slowly for the fingers. But there was no Alfred Hitchcock music playing in the background, but there might as well have been. I'm not sure why we didn't turn the lights on. I guess it wouldn't have been as much of an adventure. But then we both spotted it at the same moment. Simultaneously, we jumped up, did 180, and ran screaming for the door like a couple of kids running from a monster. I pushed my brother through the door, and we both tumbled on the ground. And we were shrieking and grossed out and laughing at the same time. And we did it. We were men. So that's a great memory of me and my brother. So here's the thing, though. The Sunday before this, my dad preached on the text from Romans that says this: all things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose. And as he told us later, all the way to the hospital, these words kept going on through his mind. All things work together for good. All things work together for good. He said later that it was those words that kept him going, that kept him encouraged. It was a painful recovery process, but he didn't let the ordeal get him down. So thinking back years later now, I'm not quite sure of all the things that worked out for good, but I know they did. My dad wasn't perfect, and I know none of us are, but I think he softened a bit. He did love people, and he and my mom would always welcome guests into our home and so forth, but lots and lots of teenagers without a decent home life sat at our kitchen table and had dinner with us. They were just welcome to hang out. Then one day in 2002, my dad passed into the arms of Jesus, and there were over 30 of us kids and grandkids crowded into his room singing his favorite hymns. Do we all have struggles? Yeah, we do, you bet. Do we all need to mature a bit? Yes. Have things worked out for the good of those who loved him? Without a doubt. So, here's a question for you. Have you trusted God to take the stumbling blocks in your life and turn them into stepping stones? Have you kept your heart pure and free from bitterness? Have you been able to keep pressing forward in spite of the storms of life? And right now, if you're right smack dab in the middle of a big trial, trust him. His word is true. He is faithful. He will carry you in the toughest times. I know it. I've seen it. I've lived it. Keep looking forward. I'm standing with you. I'm praying for you. Romans 8:28 out of the Message says, that's why we can be so sure that every detail in our lives of love for God is worked into something good. And Proverbs 4:23 says, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. I sure do love you. Thanks for listening. Hey guys, thanks for joining in with me today. I'm really encouraged to see folks wanting to become more fruitful and effective in their ministries. Strong and Healthy is a work in progress with regular updates, so stay tuned for more. And please subscribe to this channel so you can get the latest content. And also, if you'd like, you can email me with questions and encouragements at contactstevebarr@gmail.com. God bless. See you next time.